Superboy Prime vs. Zeus. When cosmic power collides with absolute godhood, who will win? Superboy Prime is one of the most powerful versions of Superman from Earth Prime in the DC universe. He possesses physical strength far beyond that of any Kryptonian, with the ability to destroy planets with a punch, survive in space without oxygen, travel faster than light, and is virtually immune to magic. His most dangerous trait is his mind, twisted by an obsession with perfection and uncontrollable madness. Superboy Prime does not fight to protect, but to assert his position in a universe he believes is wrong. Zeus is the king of Olympus, ruler of thunder, fire, and judgment. He is not only the supreme figure of Greek mythology, but also a being with magical powers, elemental manipulation, immortality, and once sealed the Titans. Zeus's power does not depend on his muscles, but on his deep understanding of the laws of the universe and his will to govern reality by divine command. A wave of Zeus's hand can blow away a city, a look can turn a sinful soul into ash. Before we dive into the analysis, please click the subscribe button. Please remember to turn on notifications and click the bell icon. Thank you very much. Superboy Prime is arguably one of the most powerful characters to ever bear the title of Superman, except for the almost godlike 1 million variant. Superboy Prime is not simply a powerful warrior, he is a force of destruction. In a moment of rage, he tore the boundaries of reality apart, causing a severe rift in space-time, creating a chain reaction that led to the bizarre resurrection of a man once thought to be dead. Superboy Prime's fighting skills cannot be underestimated. He has crushed an entire team of superheroes, crushed Power Girl and Martian Manhunter with a single, precise, and ruthless attack. When facing both versions of Superman in the same battle, he not only holds his own, but clearly prevails. Even the Green Lantern Corps, once considered the defense of the universe, are powerless against his unstoppable power. What makes him dangerous is not just his brute strength, but all the familiar weaknesses of Kryptonians are ineffective against him. Kryptonite does not work. Magic has no significant effect. He is like an upgraded version, purified of all the limitations that once existed in Superman. In a rare fight, he even wounded the Dark Knight Batman himself. The source of his power comes from his ability to absorb yellow solar energy at a rate and efficiency far beyond that of a Kryptonian. Every ray of light that hits his body is optimally converted into strength, durability, and speed. He has demonstrated the ability to lift objects of unimaginable mass, including moving a rotating planet, something very few have ever done. In battles of destruction, he has repeatedly gone toe-to-toe with superior forces, including the entire Justice League, and even terrifying entities like the Anti-Monitor. None of them can easily stop the explosive violence from him. When Superboy Prime's speed reaches supersonic levels, even in a few moments of burst, he catches up with Flash's movements, which seems impossible for a character who is not specialized in speed. The scary thing is that his power is not fixed, but increases with his emotions. When exposed directly to a high-intensity yellow solar radiation source, Prime seems to burn from within. At that time, each of his punches can blow apart the barrier of space, shattering the physical boundaries that were considered inviolable. Superboy Prime does not hesitate to face the forces of good and evil at the same time. He has attacked the Justice Society of America, the Teen Titans, and the Doom Patrol, engulfing them all in a storm of uncontrollable violence. Each battle is a long-living earthquake, leaving a devastating and terrifying aftertaste for even the most experienced. Though the Darkest Night is the embodiment of omnipotent chaos, Prime's ability to penetrate his nearly impenetrable defenses is uncanny. Superboy Prime's presence is not only a threat, but also a source of deep unease for anyone who confronts him. Superboy Prime, unlike other Kryptonians, is completely immune to the radiation of the Red Sun, even when that energy is artificially replicated at high intensity. Even magic, which is often considered a counterweight, is useless against Superboy Prime. Mordru's spell has brought down many heroes, but when it touches Prime, it simply dissipates like smoke. Whether base or cosmic, it cannot change him. Whatever Mr. Mxyzptlk has used to bend reality is meaningless against Prime's unwavering will and natural defenses. Even during the Death Metal event, when Darkest Night possessed the matter manipulation abilities inherited from Dr. Manhattan's evolution, no attack could penetrate the layer of reality surrounding Superboy Prime. Superboy Prime has encountered nearly every major force in the DC universe. He has faced off against the Teen Titans, torn apart the Justice League, broken through the ranks of the League of Doom, repelled the Legion of Superheroes, and left the Green Lantern Corps in awe with his sheer durability. Not even the Guardians, the ancient guardians of the universe, could contain the fury he carries. He essentially possesses the same abilities as Superman, but has been vastly enhanced to the point of being almost incomparable. The second time he broke the Phantom Zone with a single punch, he recreated Beast Boy. Is an incredibly powerful anti-Monitor who defeated nearly every hero in the Crisis on Infinite Earths event, including the ultimate symbol of judgment, the Spectre. Prime does not back down. He slept straight into the center of the Anti-Monitor's warped universe, and with unimaginable power, he tore apart the entire dimension he ruled. And then the fourth punch was the most powerful attack Superboy Prime had ever thrown. In that moment, the light shattered around the incoming fist like a burning star. It was the entity that had defeated Perpetua, the mother of the entire multiverse, a sixth-dimensional being who could restructure dimensions with her mind. And then Prime, without plot or strategy, simply threw a punch with all his strength and his opponent collapsed. Superboy Prime also possessed a property that almost defied all the laws of the universe. He could not die. If he was destroyed or erased from the time stream, the only thing that would happen was rebirth. He did not disappear. Instead, he will return to Earth Prime, his origin, as a natural reaction to the flow of the universe itself. There was a strange moment when another version of himself, the so-called Time Trapper, took action to erase Prime. But the result was not as expected. Even though the light of time was bent, even though the entire process was reversed, Prime did not disappear. He was the bottleneck between destruction and rebirth. Each of his punches not only cracked the physical fabric, but also shook the very definition of power. Nothing can stop a will that transcends the laws of the universe, and Prime is the clearest manifestation of that. I really hope you only subscribe to the channel. It will help us a lot, and moreover, you will see great videos every day. You are the best. Thank you very much. Zeus is revered as the supreme monarch in Greek mythology, a symbol of absolute power on Mount Olympus. He is not only the head of the gods, but also the embodiment of order, justice, and unparalleled strength. With his eyes as sharp as an ancient sword and his majestic stance between heaven and earth, Zeus makes both gods and mortals bow in respect. His symbolic weapon is lightning bolts carrying the primal power of the sky. Each lightning bolt he releases is not simply a deadly electric current, but the wrath of heaven, capable of burning down fortresses, tearing apart mountains, and ending the lives of anyone who dares to challenge his authority. When Zeus raises his arm, the sky turns gray, the wind swirls, and thunder rumbles like the drumbeat of a divine army approaching. The weather obeys his will. From a bright sunny sky, it can instantly turn into a fierce storm in an instant. As the ruler of Olympus, Zeus holds absolute command over the gods, demigods, and even humans. Even powerful gods like Ares, Apollo, and Athena dare not disregard Zeus's orders, knowing the consequences of disobedience. The aura that radiates from him does not come from his clothes or crown, but from the immense power that is always present in his every step and breath. Not only is Zeus a powerful father, he is also the spiritual pillar of many young gods. The children he bore from Hercules, Perseus, and Athena all carry within them a deep respect for the one who gave them strength and life. They praise him in hymns that resound in the sacred temple, where sunlight shines through the marble dome and reflects on the statues of the majestic figure of their divine father. Zeus is depicted holding a scepter in one hand and a thunderbolt in the other, both symbols of his power. Sometimes he wore a crown of oak leaves. The oak tree was considered his sacred tree. Homer repeatedly described him as bearer of the Aegis. Aegis was a giant shield that Zeus often carried with him, occasionally lending it to his daughter Athena. He also kept a pet, a giant golden eagle named Dios. Zeus was both the youngest and eldest son of Cronus and Rhea. In particular, shortly after the creation of the world, the then ruler of the gods, Cronus, learning that one of his children would overthrow him, devoured Zeus's 3 sisters and 2 brothers as soon as they were born: Demeter, Hera, Hestia, Hades, and Poseidon. Zeus would have been eaten if Rhea had not secretly stuffed Cronus with a stone wrapped in swaddling clothes and hidden her youngest child in a cave on Mount Ida in Crete. There, Zeus was raised by the goddesses and met his first wife, Metis, or Wisdom. Following her advice, he disguised himself as an Olympian cupbearer and tricked his father into drinking poisoned wine. The wine made Cronus so sick that he eventually regurgitated Zeus's brothers, still intact, and was ready for revenge. This, their second reincarnation, made the youngest Zeus the elder. In his youth, Zeus seemed to have been too arrogant and hot-tempered, so Hera, Poseidon, Apollo, and perhaps the others, except Hestia, decided to teach him a lesson. While Zeus was sleeping, they stole his thunderbolt and tied him with 100 knotted ropes. Zeus was helpless, but the Nereid Thetis acted quickly and called upon Briareus, the Hecatoncheir, who used his 100 arms to untie him in a split second. Zeus severely punished the three leaders of the rebellion, especially Hera, and they swore never to defy him again. These monstrous giant storm gods were the mightiest and most muscular sons of Uranus and Gaia, and were also Zeus's uncles and most powerful allies. Cottus, Briareus, and Gyges were giant humanoids with 100 strong arms and 50 heads each. Even their father, Uranus, and their Titan brothers feared their power. They were physically stronger than their nephew and overlord Zeus. It took Briareus to rescue Zeus from the other Olympians when they staged a coup on Mount Olympus. He certainly could not have freed himself, and without them, Zeus and his siblings would never have won the Titanomachy. Zeus is often considered the most direct and visible god in the ancient Greek belief system. In the Greek pantheon, he was worshipped at the top of the hierarchy, representing order, justice, and supremacy on Mount Olympus. Meanwhile, in Norse mythology, Odin, although the head of the gods, did not hold the role of absolute power in the way that Zeus did. Odin is wise and understanding of fate, but does not carry the image of a supreme god who rules the entire universe like Zeus. However, it cannot be denied that Zeus is not without limits. In the ancient Theogony, when the Titans rebelled, he could not end the war by himself. Instead, he needed the help of the 100-armed Hecatonchires, the giant Cyclopes, and many other gods to overthrow Kronos and establish a new order. That great war lasted for a decade, with each battle shaking the sky and the earth, showing that Zeus' power was not completely absolute when facing the ancient forces. Surprisingly, in one battle, Zeus was defeated quite easily by Thor, and his symbolic weapon, the lightning bolt, became a counterattack tool. Although this lightning bolt still retained its destructive power, in Thor's hands it was bent and redirected, creating an overwhelming counterattack impulse. It can pierce the atmosphere and open a path to the center of the universe, just as Stormbreaker did when it opened the Bifrost. While Zeus's lightning bolt is a bit less versatile than Stormbreaker's, it is still powerful enough to counter the Necrosword, a sword of dark power that can go toe-to-toe with the weapons of the gods. The Necrosword was once feared by the ancient gods, and the ability to counter it was not easy to find. The fact that Zeus' lightning was able to strike a balance in the encounter with the weapon shows that his power has not faded. Zeus is one of the most powerful Skyfather-level entities in the mythological universe. He can easily change the terrain with a single wave of his hand. And Zeus lifted an entire mountain range, causing the earth to shake and the sky to change color. He threw She-Hulk away as if she were nothing more than a piece of light cloth. Even Hercules, a warrior with superhuman strength born from Zeus's own blood, was once knocked down with a single punch. Zeus's presence on the battlefield is like a raging storm, sweeping away everything in his path. While the Hulk has shown resilience and endurance beyond physical standards against Zeus, all that durability is just a delay to an inevitable end. Zeus's power is often compared to Odin, the head of the Asgardian pantheon. He holds power that transcends the limits of three-dimensional space. It has been stated that Odin has the power to destroy the entire multiverse if his full power were unleashed. The fact that Zeus is on par with Odin shows the true scale of his power. Zeus is more than just a god. He is the storm of the gods, the flame of order, and the one who brings the ultimate limit to those who believe that pure strength can surpass divine power. Superman Prime, when stripped of his overblown mythos, is still an upgraded version of the Superman we know. Despite his grandiose title, he is not immune to all dangers and is completely incapable of creating life from nothing. If it were Superman from the Earth Prime timeline in the New 52 era, his powers would still be limited to the physical and material. Kryptonite would still hurt, magic would still be a weakness, and the lack of exposure to yellow sunlight would rapidly diminish his powers. Zeus in the New 52 universe is presented with a divine depth that goes beyond the usual limits. He exists not only in the physical world, but also beyond all concepts of three-dimensional space. The clearest evidence of that power is that Zeus is identified as the biological father of Wonder Woman, a person born from the blood of gods but still in human form. Zeus is not simply a myth, which shows that belief is not the only thing that maintains his power. He can manipulate souls, change the nature of other people's existence with a simple command. When Zeus gives an order, reality bends to his will, and someone's existence can be erased from the timeline in the blink of an eye. Without fighting, without physical strength, with just a sentence, Zeus can completely push Superman's soul into Tartarus, where souls that cannot be released are held, and let him suffer eternal torment in the darkness of hell, even when Zeus chooses to manifest in a tangible form. In that state, he is forced to accept certain limitations, but still maintains supreme control over the space and time around him. Superman may be strong in speed, punching power, and flight, but all of these are manifestations of physical power, bound by the laws of the universe. Zeus, on the other hand, is not subject to those laws. If the two were to face each other in a balanced situation, the advantage would be completely on the side of Zeus, who is not just a god, but the definition of power beyond mortal boundaries, and Zeus would win. I hope you enjoy this fight. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Follow me if you like. That's it for today's video. Thanks a lot.